Horror and science fiction are intertwined genres. Science fiction is about asking questions. What does the future have in store for us? How will technology change our society? What awaits us out there in the depths of space? We don't always like the answers. That's where the horror comes in. Galaxy of Terror's opening sequence pans over the murky landscape of the planet Morganthus. We are introduced to the Remus, a crashed spaceship where the last surviving crew member is fighting for his life. It doesn't go well for him. We cut to the planet Xerxes, where a weird space witch fills us in on all the lore that presumably confused test audiences.
I am Mitri, the interpreter of the signs, the oracle of the game. I play at the bidding of the all-powerful one, Planet Master of Xerxes.
After conferring with Mitri, the Planet Master of Xerxes sends Commander Ilvar of the spaceship Quest to locate the Remus on Morganthus. This movie has already met its quota of fake names.
Cavern and QOD, Alpha Deck and Com Room. Illuma with me, Kaz, main control.
The crew thinks they're on a rescue mission, but the Planet Master's motivations aren't yet clear.
Now, old woman, leave me. The waiting is over. I play alone.
As the ship lifts off, we're given rapid introductions for its 10 crew members. One of them is played by a pre-Freddy Robert Englund. He seems so young and innocent at this point in his career.
Welcome to prime time, bitch!
The filmmakers have the characters run around and say each other's names repeatedly in hopes the audience will remember them. The movie's a bit crowded at this point, but it won't stay that way for long. As they approach Morganthus, a mysterious force yanks the ship down to the surface and Captain Trantor barely manages a safe landing. Second-in-command Balon leads a rescue team to the wreckage of the Remus. Someone in the production clearly asked, how do we make this movie cooler? And the obvious answer was, Sid Haig in fingerless gloves with crystal throwing stars. During the search, they discover the bodies of the Remus's crew. One of the Quest's crew members is attacked and killed by some kind of bug monster. Which vanishes before the rescue team can intervene.
How can a life scan just disappear?
It did. I sensed something around Cause, then when he died, it just vanished. Gone.
Now, the obvious thing to do at this juncture is to leave Morganthus and never return, but the force that pulled the Quest down to the surface won't allow them to take off. Commander Ilvan sets out with another team to find the mysterious device and shut it down. This movie reminds me of something else, but I can't quite put my finger on it. I'll be spoiling the ending later, but that'll suffice for now. Wait, what does that say? Enhance. James Cameron? As in Terminator, Avatar, King of the World James Cameron?
I'm the king of the world!
What is he doing here? Galaxy of Terror was produced by Roger Corman. As I mentioned in my video on Piranha, Corman had a habit of identifying promising filmmakers and finding projects to suit their talents. This was one of the first productions Cameron worked on before becoming a director. Like Piranha, Galaxy of Terror was obviously inspired by a recent hit film. I didn't mean to return to this incredibly specific well so soon, but it's not my fault that Corman ripped off every box office hit of the 70s. Instead of Jaws, this time Corman was borrowing from Alien. As I recently discovered, this wasn't even the only Alien knockoff he produced. The Alien connection makes Cameron's influence all the more interesting considering he went on to direct the sequel Aliens 5 years later. Galaxy of Terror sort of functioned as Alien 1.5, at a time when the actual sequel was in the early stages of development. It pales in comparison to the original, but it's not the worst movie spawned by Alien.
Okay, I got a new game. Tag!
We'll never know the full story, but I can't help but wonder how Cameron's experiences on Galaxy of Terror may have shaped the direction of Aliens. The other production designer, Robert Skotak, has worked with Cameron on several occasions, earning Oscars for his special effects work on Aliens and Terminator 2.
The nominees for visual effects are Aliens, Robert Skotak, Stan Winston, John Richardson, and Suzanne Benson.
Great recognition. Thank you.
It's no wonder production design is one of Galaxy of Terror's greatest assets. The miniatures, sets, and special effects, though obviously cheap, are consistently creative even when the rest of the movie isn't. Speaking of special effects, I should address the... I don't even want to say that phrase out loud. If you'd rather not have your brain sullied with the following content, I totally understand. Feel free to skip ahead to the timecode in the description. Now that I've alienated any decent person who might stumble upon this video, let's proceed. In the film's most infamous scene, a giant maggot forces itself upon the Quest's tech officer, Damia. Again, it's not too late to back out. I first watched this movie after a long night of editing. As I slipped in and out of consciousness, I managed to jot down one note here. It reads, "This scene sounds way too wet." The revision history for Galaxy of Terror's Wikipedia page reveals a dispute as to whether this scene is consensual or not. Regardless, this scene is gross and not in a good way. While the filmmakers devised gruesome deaths for most of the characters, this scene alone was supposed to be violent and sexy. That's troubling, to say the least. Galaxy of Terror looks remarkably good for such a cheap production. And it's got a decent cast of characters.
What a magnificent piece of work.
There's Sid Haig's Q-Hod, for instance. An intimidating weirdo who only speaks once in the entire movie.
I live and I die by the crystals.
Who are you?
And there's Captain Trantor.
What are you doing at my station? I'm fine, Miss Scrappy.
A veteran space traveler dealing with the trauma of her mysterious past.
Yes. Everyone's forgotten now.
Then there's Balon, who's...
Wonderful. Just what we need.
a jerk. And Kor, the ship's cook, and Aluma, the psychic, and let's not forget about Ranger. Wait. Who is this movie about? Based on what I've said so far, can you guess which of these characters is the protagonist? Trick question. It's this guy, Cabron. I haven't even mentioned him yet, because he doesn't do anything important until the end. Besides saying the worst line in the movie, of course.
Aren't you afraid?
Too scared to be.
This approach to character development is promising in concept, but lacking in execution.
We'll take that one. I want you each to follow me in 10-second intervals.
The film does have likable side characters, but they take up so much narrative real estate that we never really get to know our protagonist. As the more distinctive characters are picked off one by one, we're left with a guy who has a mustache, I guess? Like most things in this movie, Alien didn't just do this first. It did it better. Even if you haven't seen Alien, you're probably aware of its protagonist Ellen Ripley, played by Sigourney Weaver. For just a moment, let's look at Alien with fresh eyes. The space freighter Nostromo receives a distress signal emanating from a nearby moon. The ship's captain, Dallas, decides to investigate. He explores the moon's surface with crew members Lambert and Kane. discovering an alien spacecraft filled with eggs. Kane gets attacked by a space beastie and is rushed back to the ship in a comatose state. So where is Ripley in all this? She's back on the ship. We know she's the main character. But she's not framed that way initially. She grows from a supporting character to an iconic protagonist over the course of the film, but Cabra never quite makes it there.
What?
For most of its runtime, Galaxy of Terror alternates between a decent alien pastiche and a total schlockfest. Then, as the end draws near, it suddenly gets interesting. This is where the major spoilers start. If you're curious, go watch Galaxy of Terror for yourself. I'll still be here when it's done.
If that's true, it's finished.
Finished, Cameron? There has hardly been a beginning.
With most of the crew dead, Kor reveals himself as the Planet Master.
This pyramid is an ancient toy. A brilliant initiatory toy for the children of the vanished race to see their deepest fears and learn to control them.
As the movie's been hinting at from the beginning, none of the monsters are real. All this time, the crew is being attacked by projections from their own psyches.
I hate
The pyramid was designed as a coming-of-age test by an extinct civilization, but the Planet Master has repurposed it as a tool to choose a successor.
This is where I became master.
Cabron kills Kor as revenge for leading the crew into a death trap, but in doing so he becomes the new Planet Master. It was all part of the plan.
You already won the game.
This is just a game to the Planet Master. A game where the losers are expendable, and even the winners are just cogs in a machine.
I will never do what you have done.
Too late. You are the master.
I can leave. Refuse.
And allow your planet to plunge into chaos. That too would be the effect of your power.
The real horror isn't the giant maggot humping you to death. It's society.
There's no horror here we don't create ourselves.
How did we get from a sleazy monster movie to this existential horror?
Hiding myself.
The film's flaws are still evident, but they don't bother me so much when I think about the ending. Maybe Galaxy of Terror benefits from hindsight. As all the forgettable moments fade from memory, we're left with that haunting conclusion.
Hang on to your shorts.